Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to Dupi Animations. And today we are going to be creating an award ceremony showcase template. There is no third party being involved here, and it's just a simple arrangement. Okay? All right, so not to waste time, let's go straight to the work. All right? All right, so let's bring After Effects. So with our After Effects open, let's start our project. First, let's bring in the assets to be used. I have some pictures, images here. Let me load them in. Okay. All right. So now let's create a new composition. Let's name it picture one. Picture one. Now let's duplicate it 2 times. 1, 2 to have 3 copies. Let's create another composition. Let's name this one info 1. Info 1. That's where our informations are going to be. Okay. Now let's create another composition. Let's name it animation 1. Animation 1. Let's leave these ones here. Whilst we are going on, we create the rest of the compositions. Okay. First, let me close the animation 1 and the information 1. Let me open picture 2 and picture 3. Now let's load the images inside. So picture 1, let me bring the image in. Let me scale it down. Let me open picture 2, the image. Hit S for scale, then scale it down. Picture 3, where's the image? Let me bring this one. Hit S for scale, then scale it down. Now we are done with picture 3. Now let's open information 1. Okay, so information 1, let's type in something. But before that, let me go to view, then select the show rulers. Then we position the vertical rule onto the right side. We want the alignment to be on the right side. So let's type in something. Let me select test, then type in something like maybe award night. So after typing this, then select the right alignment so that everything will be aligned to the right side. Now duplicate the text, then bring it down, then maybe type this one. So at this point, I'm just putting in any information at all. Okay. Character. Now let me scale this one up. Okay. Let me do adjustment here quickly. So I think this is okay. So we have our first information here. Now this is what you are going to do. You are going to duplicate information 1, duplicate it to have information 2, then duplicate again. So we have 3 information columns. Okay. So on information 2, let me open information 2 too. What I'll do is I'll select this entire information, come to paragraph, then click on the left alignment so that all of them will be aligned to the left side. Okay. All right. So this is okay. So now we have information. So when you come to information 1, there is something there. Information 2, there's something written there. Information 3, there's something written there. Okay. So I'm going to use this information to do the animation. So this information will serve as our placeholders. If you want to change them, you can change them any time you want. All right. Let me just clear information 3 first. Let me delete information 3, then animate information 1 and 2. So information 1, let me come to something like 2 seconds, then set a key, position, hit P for position, then set an ending key. All right. Then move the timeline to the starting point. Then move the animation, move the entire information to the right side so that the coming in will be animated. All right. So you have this. Let's see. Okay. So what you do is just select the entire keys, then ease them. Okay. Real quick. Okay. After that, you can select them individually. You select one, you go to graph editor, then you move it in. So real quick. So each of them go to graph editor, When you are done with that, what you do is just move the layers randomly. Okay, some will come later. So you have something like this. You see that? Okay. So now you can duplicate information 1 to have information 3. So now let's come to information 2. Okay, since the alignment is on the left side, you have to animate that one too separately. So let's select the entire information, hit P for position, then set an ending key, move the timeline to the beginning, then move the entire information to the left side till they disappear. All right. So like how you did the information 1, select the entire key points, then ease them. Okay. Then after that, select the keys, the points individually. Then you go to graph editor. Then move one side in. So once you are done, like always, move the timeline individually. Once you are done with that, now let's open animation 1. Now we are going to do the arrangement with our animation 1 open. First, let's bring in our picture composition. Okay, then make it 3D. Then type P on the keyboard. Then on position Z, let's type something like 2000. Then enter. See, what it will do is it will push the image backwards. All right. Now, select the anchor point 2. Okay. Then move the anchor point to the left side of the image. Now duplicate the image, Control D. All right. Hold the Alt key, then click and drag information 1 onto the duplicated picture 1. You see that? Now select the information 1, then select the anchor point 2, then move the anchor point on information 1 to the right side. Okay. So on picture image, you have the anchor point at the left side, whilst on the information, you have the anchor point on the right side. All right. Now right clicking, new, then select null objects. Okay. Then make it 3D. All right. Then let's hit P for position. Then let's type in 2000, like how we did the picture, so that the null object will also push backwards. Okay. So now let's move the null objects to the left side and align it to the picture comp. All right. So now on picture information, select picture information, then hit R for rotation. Then on the rotation Y, let's type -90. Okay. Now stand on the anchor point, then move information comp to the right side of the image. So now let's bring in a camera. Let's right click in new camera. So align the camera to the null objects. To do that, just click on the pick whip here, which is the parent's pick whip. Then align it to the null objects here. Okay. When you hit R on rotation and rotate the null object, you see that it affects the entire image. Okay. Now when you move the null object to any angle or side, you see that it moves the entire stage. You see? You see? Although the camera is linked to the null object here, okay, although the camera is linked to the null object here, what we are going to do is, for normal rotation, we are going to use the null objects. Okay, so let me enter here, then type cam rotate. But for camera, zoom, panning, and tilting, we'll use the actual camera. All right, so hit C. C is for cam. You see that the cursor changes to what? Panning camera. So you can move it anywhere you want. So it is a panning camera. Okay, so on camera, let's hit P for position. C again then gives you the zoom in camera. You see? So somewhere here is okay. So the starting point, our starting point here. Okay, let's set a beginning key. Then come something like 5 seconds or 4 seconds. Then zoom in towards us. You see? Okay, slowly. So it will be something like this. You see? Okay. So this is for the first animation, a slow zooming in camera animation. All right. So in this case, if you want a rotation within your animation, you can just use the rotation on the cam rotate. Okay. So let's say it's coming towards us. All right. Then from here, let me set a key on Y rotation. Then to here, let's rotate it gradually so that the info will show more. You see? You see? So you have something like this. Then it will rotate in gradually. Okay. All right. So now let's come back to the cam control position. So on cam control, let's hit C for the panning. C, the first C is for panning. Second C is for zooming. Third C is for the actual camera eye. Then the fourth C is for rotation. So let's come to the panning one. So let's pan it to position the same well. Then hit C for the zooming. Let's zoom in for the entire information to come in to focus. Okay. Then C to bring, let's bring the panning one. So now this is okay. So we have something like this for the first animation. Okay, let's leave it like that. Now come to effects and type VC reflect. Then apply it to the picture. Okay. Then come to its settings. Then on VC reflection settings, opacity, let's go something like 30. Then amount blur, let's go 30. Okay. Let me see. Opacity. Let me see if 40. Okay, 40 is okay. Amount blur, let me see. 40 as well. Okay, that's also okay. So now copy the VC reflect, come to information one, then paste it on it. Okay, so you have this. All right. If you think it's too much, just come to the opacity, then reduce it to 30 or 20 if you want to 30. Okay. Now let's create a background. All right. Right click in new, then select solid layer white. Okay. Now let's bring it down. Then come to effect and type CC ball action. Okay. Then apply it to the solid. You see. Then on CC ball action, ball size, let's go something like 12 so that the particles will be tiny. Then the scattering, let's go something like, let me see, 600. That's 600. Okay, 600 is okay. All right. We are creating particles, so let's name it particles. Particles. All right. Then maybe I want the under particles not to show. So what I'll do is I'll type linear wipe. Linear wipe. Okay. Then apply it. Then on linear wipe angle, let's go 0. Then wipe to a certain point. Then feather it a bit. Okay. So this is okay. So you have something like this. Okay. All right. So now what we do next is bringing the lights within it. Okay. The lights image within it. So we have a beautiful light image here. So I'll duplicate picture 1, hold the Alt key, then bring the light image to replace it. Okay. Then come to effects, then remove that VC reflect from the light image. So now let's bring the light image down to the bottom of the picture image. Then scale it. Okay. So you have something like this. All right. The same thing applies to the information 1. You duplicate it, then remove the VC reflect from the duplicated one, then come to project, then hold the Alt key, then click and drag the light image onto the duplicated one. Okay, now let's bring this one also down and let's stretch this. Now let's move the lights in a bit more. Okay, so you have something like this. Now duplicate the lights again, then rotate it. Let's rotate it on Z, something like 90. Now let me position it to the middle. Let me change the camera view and see if what I'm doing is right. Okay, it's right. Let me leave it like that. So scaling, let me scale it down a bit. So with this, we are done with our animation 1. Okay, with this, we are done with animation 1. Okay, now let's come to animation 2. For animation 2, we will just duplicate animation 1. Okay, then double click to open it. So on animation 2, let's do this. On picture 1, we are going to replace it with what? Information 2. So information 2 will replace picture 1. So hold the Alt key, then click and drag information 2 onto picture 1 to replace the picture with information. Then on information 1, come to picture 2. Then hold the Alt key, then drag it onto information 1. You see that? So you have this, something like this. You see? Okay. So now, I don't want the animation the way it is, the way it's coming. That's not what I want. Okay, so on camera, position, then on cam rotate, let me hit R. All right, so I will change their rotation and their animation keys. So let me take the animations off, then reset a different animation on it. All right, so I want the ending of this animation. I want to see the image more, so I rotate to show the image this way. Okay, then X rotation, I'll move it upwards a bit. I think like this is okay. All right, let me select the camera, then hit C on it, then position our send wheel. All right, so maybe something like this is okay for me. So on camera position, I'll set a key there. Then rotation, I'll set all the key. So we are going to use the rotations to animate this. So our beginning, let me rotate on Y. Let's see. Y rotation. Okay, so this is okay. Then maybe X rotation, somewhere like this. Let me see, Z. It's okay. Now let's move the timeline backwards. Then rotate on Y. I'm just using a simple transformation animation to do this. Okay, so this is okay. Then let's see, come to camera position. You set a key there. Then on panning, or you can just use the zooming. Okay, let's use the zooming so that you have something like this. So you have something like this. Okay, so this is for the second animation. Okay, in a simple way, we are using the camera for simple panning and zooming, whilst the cam control, we are using it for rotations. Okay, we could have used an effect called separate XYZ positions for the camera movements too, but I want to do it this way so that it will be simpler. Okay, so now that we are done with this, let's go to the third animation. Let's just duplicate the first one so that we have animation 3. Let's create a new composition and name it main. Let's name it main. So this is where we are going to do our arrangements. Let me make it 20 seconds. Okay. So what we do is we will select the 3 animation compositions, then drag them inside the main. Okay. So animation 1 will be the starting one, whilst animation 2 and 3 will follow. Okay. So you have this. Animation 1 will start, then end somewhere here. Then animation 2 will follow, comes in and ends somewhere here as well. Then animation 3 will follow. Okay. Just like that. Just some simple animation. Okay. All right. So now let's select the entire compositions, then move them backwards. Now what you're going to do is, let's create an intro for this. Okay, an intro. Let's create an intro for this. So let's create another composition, then name it intro. Intro. 10 seconds. All right. Now let's type something like awards. So let me scale this one down, then center it. Okay. Duplicate this, then type award. Okay. Now let me scale it up. The best wins. So this is just a simple award showcase. All right. So you have this. Now let's bring the light picture that I have here. Let me lay this one under it, then duplicate it, then bring it upwards. Okay. Now select the two lights, then scale them up. Okay. To have something like this. Now let's create a background, solid layer, then new camera. Okay. Okay. Now make everything 3D. Everything 3D here. All right. Now select the solid layer, come to effects and type the CC ball action. All right, CC ball action. CC ball action. Then apply it. Then let's go 12 size for the particles. Then the scattering, let's go 600. Okay. So what we are going to do is, we are just going to use the camera zoom in to animate. Okay. So let's hit C for camera. All right. So I want the ending to be how it looks now. So on camera, hit P for position, then set a key, then move the timeline backwards, then zoom out. Okay. So you have something like this. Zoom out. So you have something like this. Okay. So you can select the two keys, then ease them. All right. Then come to graph editor, then move one side in so that the beginning will be fast, then slow here. Okay. Let me see. Let me open it up again. So let's see. All right. So this is okay. Try to find the center point. So let's say if the center point, let's go for the rulers and position it in the middle here. Let's say this is the center point. So on the two lights, let me select the two lights and hit P for position. Okay. So somewhere here, I'll set a key, right? Then beginning somewhere here, this one will come in. Then this one will also come in so that it will close in. So it will be something like this to reveal the info. Then it will reveal the info. Okay. So select the three text, then hit P on them. Then the main text, which is the award. Okay. Set a key somewhere here. Let it come up somewhere here. Hit P. Then bring the timeline backwards. Then bring it down for it to disappear. Okay. Then this one, best wins. When it comes like that, I think from here it can come. From here it can come up. Hit P. Then let it go up. Okay. Then the third one, which is the one on top. Okay. You hit P, then set a key on that one too, then bring the timeline backwards. Then bring it up. Okay, so what you are going to do is award. Let's go to effects and type linear wipe. Then double click to apply the effects. So you cut under the award. Okay, so with the linear wipe angle is 90 degrees. So let's put it to 0. Then increase the percentage to cut the bottom of the award. Okay, so from here to here, it will start. Okay, let's go something like 45. From here to here, then to come up. It will come up here. You see that? Okay. The next one is the best win. Let's apply it. Where does it start from? Let's say this one comes from up there. So let's go 180. 180. So we cut the top of it. Let's cut the top. Okay. So let's see from here. Let's cut again. Yeah, it should start coming from here. Okay. So here and here is okay. Now the third one, which is the youth. Let's apply the linear wipe. Okay. Youth. Should cut from the top there. So that one too. Wipe angle should be 180. 180, and let's wipe. Let me cut the timeline to this point. This one too, let me cut it to this point. This one too, let me cut it to this point. So you have something like this. Let's see what we have. So basically, this is how I set it up. For time's sake, I'm trying to finish it quickly. All right? I don't want us to waste time. If you think that it's too fast, you can just open them up. Okay? Just open them up if it's too fast for you. And mind you, you can just select the keys, set easy ease to make them smoother. All right? Then go to the graph editor and then move the one side of the point in so that the animation will be smoother for you. Okay? Simple. All right. So now let's come to our main. Let me close the intro. Our main, then come to project. Now let's bring the intro. There's the intro. Okay. So our intro is here. So it comes in awards nights. Okay. So now let me cut it here. Okay. Let's right click inside our composition new, then select adjustment layer. Okay. So our adjustment layer will be here. Let me cut it to this point. Let me move this one to this point. Okay. So let's apply effect called transform, and apply it to the adjustment layer. Now let's scale it up. That's the transform. Okay. So from here, what you are going to use is the masking tool. So I'll select the rectangular masking tool, then cut the transform. You see that? Okay. Now let me select these 2 points, then slant the mask. So I'll slant it to this point. All right. So we are going to animate the masking. So let me move it to this side, the right side. Now let me open it up, then set a key on the mask path. Now let me move the timeline forward. Then double click and move the mask to the right side. Okay, so you have something like this. You see that? Okay, so from here, the next thing is to duplicate the mask. So Control D to duplicate the mask. Let me see, open the mask 1 and mask 2. Then move the starting point of mask 1 to the back a bit. Okay, so that when mask 1 comes, let me see. So you have something like this, the 2 will follow. So the animation 1, hit C, opacity, then set a key there, then move the timeline backwards, okay, then fade it out. So whilst this one animates, passes through, it reveals the image, okay. You see that? So this one, the intro, hit C, opacity, okay, then set a key. When it reaches here, it disappears, okay. So just like that. So you have your animation. So you have this, okay. So you do it to the rest too. You duplicate the adjustment layer, move it to the ending points here, okay, where this one comes in. So you select the animation 2, hit C, okay, where it comes in, set an ending opacity, then the beginning you go 0, okay. Then this one, you end the opacity animation, then you set an ending 1, okay, you set an ending 1. So you have something like this. So it's simple. So let's duplicate this one. Like how we did the previous ones, the same thing here. So let's hit C, opacity, okay, then the ending one, let's set a key. Then let's come back to the beginning, then go 0, all right. So you have something like this. Then this one, let's end the opacity animation, let's set end it, then come here 0, okay. So you have something like this. Simple. All right. So basically we are done here, guys. You see that? Nicely. Okay, so we are done here, but let me show you the separate XYZ position that I'm talking about. Okay, now let's create a new composition. Then let's name it example. All right, so now let's bring picture 1. Okay, and let's make it 3D. Let's hit P, position, then type 2000, then enter. Okay, now let's bring information 1, or let's duplicate picture 1, then hold the Alt key, then bring information 1 on it. Okay, so on the picture anchor point, let's move it to the left side here, whilst on the information anchor point, let's move it to the right. Okay, so on information 1, hit R for rotation, then on Y rotation, go something like minus 90. Okay, minus 90, then you enter. All right, so you have your information on the right side of the picture. Now stand on the info composition, then move it to the left side of the picture. Okay, now let's bring in a new camera. Okay, from camera, let's bring in new null objects. Okay, now let's make it 3D. Let's name it cam control. All right, and it's 3D. So what we are going to do is we are going to position it to the pivotal points of the information and the picture. All right, so hit P for position on the cam control, then type 2000, then enter. In this case, it's in line with the picture composition. All right, now on your cam control, stand on X and move it to the left side of the image. Okay, now let's change the view to custom view 1 and C. Okay, you see that it's at the pivotal point. All right, Now let's come to the active camera. All right, here is what we do. You will link the camera to the cam control by selecting the pick whip, click and hold, then drag it onto the cam control here. All right, now let's come to effect and presets and type separate XYZ position, then apply it to the cam control. All right, if you want to rotate, we can use the normal rotation here to rotate. See that? But if you want to do a position animation, we can use the separate XYZ. You see? So if you want the animation to come from this side, it can come from this side. If you want it to come from top, it can come from top. But you see that the previous one I did not use it, this formula. That's why I'm trying to show you guys how you can use another style to also do it. Okay? Okay, let's animate a simple one. Let's just use the Z position to animate. Okay? So let's set, let me just come in here to make it disappear. Okay? Let me see. So let's go. So it will disappear. So now let's set a key, the beginning key. Then move the timeline to something like 1 second. Then come in here. Then X position. Then go. You see that? So something like this is okay. You see how it comes in? So from here, you can use the rotation. Okay. So from here, you set a key on Y rotation, or you can set it on X also rotation. Then move the timeline to somewhere like 4 seconds. Then rotate it. Okay. Then if you want to rotate the X rotation too, you can do that as well. You see? So you have something like this. It comes in. I think this one, maybe you find this one much more better if you stick to this one. You see this one? Okay. And if you can still use the separate XYZ position to move this one in a bit more. Okay. You see? So you have something like this. All right. So let's create a new solid layer, white. Then bring in the particles. Let's type CC ball action. CC ball action. Ball action. And let's go 600 to scatter. Then the particle size, let's go 12. So let's see what we have. You see that? So this one is also simple. Okay. So you just try your hands. The one you see, you feel like it's smoother or it's fun for you to use, you use it. So after setting this one, then you animate, you add the rest of the stuff to it. You can decide to, let's see, let's come to picture, then add the VC, reflect. Okay, let's go 30-30, 30-30. Then let's copy it to the info. Let's paste it here. Okay. So you see, then later on you can add the lights to it, then you are done. Okay. So you see this one too. I think this one is also cool. So this one, we did this one using the separate XYZ positions. Okay.